here with Mittens joking about his name is so fly. Mittens cause he whipping, don't you get it, but that stove's hot, hot. Now let this be a lesson, professor. He handling the hit in his possession. Ooh, what you cooking, what you cooking? Scalding hot beats, but blow up before it's cooking. Ooh, I know you're looking true. I'm out attacking with this beat, I'm a lady man. I'm really tryna date it out. What's the number tryna call out? What about my team? Wood, shout they don't get logged out. Made by Bethesda, the only way we fall out. Morocco, you a mole. Find another hole to crawl out. Hey, I'm sick of squirrel with the biggest girls. Lace sister case get up.
Oh boy. It's been a really long time since I've been on here, so this should be fun. Good afternoon, good morning, good evening. This is DSP News, second edition. I am your host, and welcome to the GOUT Report / GOUT Retort. Thank you to for all of you who have been here that are still here. You guys know how this works, Fight Club. And for all of you guys who are coming from the main channel or wherever, welcome, and so on and so forth. Essentially what I do here is I go over DSP lore. Essentially, I try to go for the some of the older stuff. I might jump. We kind of jump back and forth through the years for the most part, but that's kind of what we do. And occasionally, especially if I'm consistent with stuff, I usually take requests for videos and so on and so forth. But I'll make a video for that and whatnot. I don't know how any of this is going to go up because theoretically I'm talking to you now, but in actuality I'm actually on a hiatus / vacation. So. Yeah, so all these are just gonna kind of stream out, but I have someone watching the channel for me, so they'll go ahead and do the thing with the make sure people's comments aren't getting held for review for long periods of time and stuff like that. Speaking of which, we don't delete comments here, so if YouTube's been kind of on a rampage as of late, but what we try to do is periodically go in, and any comments that are being held or whatever, we'll just approve them. There's only a few things that that I wouldn't be cool with actually being said, but like I said, that's usually anything racist or anything like highly religious or anything like that, or others like small shit like that. Outside of that, you're welcome to say whatever you want. So if your comment is deleted for whatever reason, let me just put it out there now, it's not because of us. And if it doesn't show up for a few hours, that means it's being held for review. We will eventually approve it, just give it a little bit of time. That's it. for the most part, we're here for the funnies, ladies and gentlemen. Like I said, hopefully you guys are doing well. I have a cornucopia of videos lined up for you guys, as I had said in the channel update video, which should have been out by now. If not, then eventually it'll be up. So just keep that in mind. But in any case, this is how it's going to work, ladies and gentlemen. Most of these videos are videos that I have personally edited together, and that part will, if you will, the raw product will go out first, and then the product with me going over it, as you're hearing right now, will come like the next day or the day after. That's essentially how it'll work for some of these videos, not all of them. So just want to throw that out there. I have condo tours, I have food vlogs, I have meal vlogs, I have fan request ridicules. I've got a bunch of stuff going. DSP tries it. I got a bunch of stuff lined up for you. So at least until the holidays, when we'll do the 12 days of Snoutmas over here, and then on the main channel I do 12 days of Goutmas. I'll explain that more as we get along. And then, as I said, I usually do requests on this channel too, but that hasn't been opened up yet. I need to take care of some of the previous requests first before I do so, because I took a hiatus from this channel for like 3 or 4 months. So, excuse me. So that's a thing. In any case, you guys are not here for that bullshit. That's my bullshit to worry about with myself and the members here and whatnot. You're here for the funnies. So, ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to take you guys back to 2011. DarksydePhil's very first Condo tour, which was it was actually February 17th of 2011. Before we do that, we're going to go into a really short video that's called Condo Wars Episode 1 First Impressions. I had to find this from a DSP Archives channel. They had it. I'll leave the link down in the description. And they have this time marked. Let's see here. It says it was from February 5th of 2011 when Phil actually uploaded it, and then for whatever reason it can't be found. But they must have re-uploaded this April 14th of 2019. So you're going to see that first part, and then everything else will be the 4 parts that will make up our particular broadcast, if you will. Ladies and gentlemen, I won't hold you guys off any longer. Thank you for being here and whatnot, giving me the chance to, talk shit. And hopefully you guys can take something from this. And for any of you guys who like DSP lore, hopefully I can at least, you know, give you my opinions on it, or if not, I can at least point you in the direction. If you guys ever need the actual source videos to any of this, the links will be down in the description. As well as the original that'll be at the beginning. That would have been the video that preceded this, and so on and so forth. So I'm trying to kind of do a little bit of archiving myself. But there are some great archiving channels out there, though, too, at your disposal. So please utilize them if you're into any of this stuff. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I won't hold you guys up any longer. This is the Gout Report / Gout Retort. And let's go ahead and get started, guys. See you in a bit.
Don't stop. I'm just a nerd shouting. Hey, hey, I'm just a nerd shouting. Hey, hey, I'm just a nerd shouting. Street Fighter 2, that is my dude. Dark Cloud 2, that is the new. I like RPGs and everything. Metal Gear Solid, man, that's my swing. Hey,
Okay, so here it is. This is the debut of my new condo. This is the kitchen.
Okay,
right now,
ladies and gentlemen, we are here with the, I guess theoretically, it's 5 videos in all, but I'll just say it's actually 2 and whatnot. We're here with 2 videos that will make up this broadcast. First part of it is brought to us by DSP Archives. This was, let's see, Condo Wars Part 1, First Impressions. This was, I'll just say it was republished on April 14th of 2019. Link to that video will be down in the description. The second part will be, the second video that will make up our broadcast and close us out, will be a 4-parter. All of them is DSP Condo Tours from 2011. Parts 1 through 4. They were published on February 17th of 2011. Here we go.
absolutely nothing set up and nothing done. I literally just walked in. You know, brand new cabinets, wood, stove, everything is new.
I should have been playing Drake. Started from the bottom, now we're here. Oh, but anyway, this is him, just to give you guys a bit of context, this is him moving out of his parents' house for the second time and finally getting his new place. Now, the story behind him buying this particular condo is actually kind of funny, so to speak. I'll just give you guys a small cliff notes because I haven't actually heard the full story. I've only heard like snippets of it. Essentially, Phil was trying to get the attention of I would assume, a very attractive lady at the particular place that he was working at. I think he was working at a bank at that time. No. Nah, I don't think so. I think he was working at the helicopter company now I think about it. Yeah, because this would have been 2000... Yeah, this would have been 2011. So he would have been working at the helicopter company. Huh. The story is... Let's see, that's kind of weird. Okay, anyway, so this is how the story goes. Supposedly, he was infatuated with a coworker. She said that a friend of hers, or whatever, had a condo for sale. Phil bought it under the pretense that he thought that would have impressed her. In actuality, that person was either her boyfriend or her husband. They finessed him for whatever amount, and they went ahead laughing all the way to the bank, essentially. So he bought the condo to try to impress a chick who already had a man, essentially. That's the way I was told. Which sounds like kind of like a Philism. You know what I'm saying? He's too lazy to kind of look and try to find a condo of his own. He would rather take something that's already familiar to him through somebody else. And the 2 major problems that this condominium had was Phil said there was an issue with the toilet, but Phil has had an issue with the toilet wherever he goes, so keep that in mind. And I think it didn't have a functioning air conditioning unit. I think his father eventually helped him out with that, but that was kind of an issue too. Hence the reason why he had that he had the air conditioner in his room, like a space cooler, or you know what I'm saying, like a personal air conditioner, if you will. And then he ended up buying another one when he moved to Washington State with Patreon money. Now, here's the thing: the one that he had, you'll see it at one of the future Condo tours. The one that he had was a perfectly good, space cooler. He should have just brought that with him. But I think the unit that he had in Connecticut is different from the one he had in Washington. Yet again, wasting money on supplies that he didn't need. But it is what it is. Another Philism is when he has to put the personal air conditioning unit in his room, in his office or studio, whatever you want to call it. He uses a certain type of tape to go ahead and seal it into the wall. Here's the thing. Why don't you just buy a large, like a large bundle of it, right? And then just hold it into the closet, keep it in the closet until you're ready for it. Period. It's good all year, it's good for years, actually, as long as it's held under the right conditions. You going out and purchasing it each and every year is kind of stupid. One of the things that really kind of screamed out at me, his how ridiculous he was when it comes to this tradition that he has, this habit he's developed about it, was when COVID-19 hit hard this year. And he was saying that he went out to a couple of hardware stores to try to find this tape, and they either ran out, or there was a bunch of people there, and he was like, well, what are they doing out? They should be at home. Well, they were there for the same reason you were, to pick up supplies, or to make home improvements because they've been stuck at the house and they've been bored. If they don't have a reason to be out, then neither do you. Now, someone, I think, actually tried to check him on that and was like, oh, well, they were out purchasing stuff they needed just like you did. Oh, well, still, they should have got that in advance. Okay, then why didn't you? You know what I'm saying? You're only hurting your own argument. So, that's what I was thinking. I was like, Jesus Christ, man, I have rolls of like duct tape, Scotch tape, and stuff like that I bought years ago, and they're still good. So why couldn't you have done the same thing with this type of tape you use for your wall, or not your wall, but for your window and whatnot? Because that's how his air conditioning unit pulls the cool air in. Why didn't you do the exact same thing? Actually, it pushes the exhaust out. I apologize. It pushes all the hot air out. Why didn't you do the exact same thing? You know what I mean? Or you could have just picked up little brackets that you install into your windows, and then you slide the exhaust outlet into that, and then it doesn't require any tape or anything. And then all year you can leave it open, and all you have is the brackets. Or you can just slide the brackets over, or you can just pull the brackets out and then reinstall them whenever you need them. He could do that too, and that saves time and everything as well. But I guess that requires a level of common sense that he's just not equipped with. It is what it is. But you're not doing yourself any favors. Just to give you guys an idea of what kind of complaints come out of this nonsense. Anywho, here we go.
Got my little laptop set up there for speakers for music, dishwasher. This is the main living room. You can see it's long. What they did here is they actually built a bar off the end of the kitchen counter, so I actually have a bar at my condo, which is pretty cool. Here's the back wall in the backyard, as you can see, beautiful, green, well kept, and nice and quiet. No noise, no cars flying by, no motorcyclists, so we won't have to hear World War III outside of my house anymore. Got the back porch here.
That's until he would stay up late getting drunk and then yelling at his TV or yelling at whatever video game he's playing, and then the neighbors have to shit on him. Which is funny too, because I was during Spider-Man Shattered Dimensions, but then Phil had said either earlier this year or late last year that it was the neighbor that was always drunk and always screaming for no reason, and he had nothing to do with it. It's amazing how everybody's seen the original video, or most people have anyway, and know exactly how the circumstance happened. But Phil's like, nope, it was the neighbor's fault. He was the one who was drunk. He was the one that was belligerent. He was the one that was screaming. He was the one that was screaming at the middle of the night, and I couldn't wait to get out of Connecticut because of him. Womp womp.
Back porch area, which you can do whatever you want with. Cookouts. Apparently, at one point, someone actually decided to do a cookout and burnt down the back porch, so none of those. Industrial strength air conditioner, of course.
I don't know, it looks kind of like a standard one to me, but whatever.
And this is the bedroom.
Actually, it's kind of funny too, because Amberlynn Reed talks like that too sometimes. But then again, Amberlynn at one time, I don't think she has them now. She used to have those huge fans, you know, like the ones that you see at football games that are spraying on, or well, they have water behind it and whatnot, that kind of fans down the players and shit, keeps them from overheating. She had something similar to that in her bedroom. She had 2 of them. God damn. So I expect Amber to say stuff like that, because Amber actually has to go, Amberlynn Reed, because she actually has to go out and buy stuff like that. On top of that, that scale that she owned, that they actually weigh car parts on, like legit, they actually weigh car parts on those things. She was using that to weigh herself. Jesus Christ. Big ups to Almighty Tevin. He has videos that where they go over that stuff. It's a wild way to live.
The door was jammed. What the fuck? And of course, a huge walk-in closet. As you can see, very spacious. There's also the front closet, obviously, where you hang your coats and everything. And then you got the bathroom. There's my brand new toilet where I'll be taking many, many shits, hopefully not on camera. The shower, which is not even set up yet. There's nothing here whatsoever. This will be interesting. You'll get to see like a before and after of my condo. Because right now nothing is set up, and that's basically what we're going to be doing over the next few days, week. Intercom, which hasn't been set up. What the fuck? Oh my god! What the fuck? Oh! Oh, come on! It's my new condo. I got a hole in the wall. Are you kidding me?
There's something wrong here. There's something wrong here. This had to be... This was 2009. I'm not sure if I've already said that, but I'm looking at my notes here and I'm thinking there's something off about this. Now, the channel that's mirroring this video, that's archiving this video, they did it right. This is September 7th of 2009 when this Condo tour went about, or when you're seeing Condo Wars. I'm sorry. I hope I said that in the beginning, but I may have not, just to make sure. Yeah. So it's either this is either July or this is September of 2009. Also, either he's the one who put that in his put that dent in his wall, which is very possible, or it was done by, it had to have been done by him, to be honest. The thing is, I don't know if he did it actually in this video. The reason why I say that is because I think he pans the camera down to the floor, and I don't remember seeing any debris on the floor. Could have been, but we'll see. But if there was and he did it, well, no, it doesn't necessarily mean that he did it either. It still doesn't necessarily mean that he did it. Oh, well, I mean, rip either way. But I feel like Phil's the type of person that when he would open the door wide and not pay any attention. But it's very possible that it could have been someone else who's actually working on the condo. All right, sorry. I just wanted to point out that this is 2009. I think I already did that, but you never know. Better safe than sorry.
Oh, man, look at this. Fucking bullshit. God damn it. What's going on, everyone? It's DSP, and as promised, I've decided to do another condo tour.
So, like I said, ladies and gentlemen, that was Condo Wars Part 1, First Impressions. Now we're actually into the legit condo tour, so we're 2 years in at this point. Like I said, the first part was 2009, we're in 2011, and we're at Part 1. Oh boy. Alright, let's get it. Let's see, bedroom, damn, dude. Now he's in full swing into his YouTube money, by the way, so keep that in mind.
Moved into my condo in the summer of 2009, and at that point I did a condo
cool. So
tour.
I was right. It was July. Okay, so yeah, July 9th of 2009. All right, cool. Well, I mean, as long as we have the details out there, right?
When the whole condo was completely empty, okay? And at that time, you know, it was pretty boring, but at least you could see where I lived, and I was really excited about it. It was the first place that I actually owned rather than rented, and a lot has changed since then in the year and a half. So due to popular fan demand, I've decided to give you a tour of my place again, and the things that have changed. So first of all, there's the front door, and yes, the hole has been fixed for quite some time. If you don't know what I'm talking about, there was a hole in the wall here where there was no doorstop down on the floor, and so at some point someone had come in here after it was renovated, and right here you can really kind of see, if you can see it right there. It's not focusing properly now, but right there, there's a little bit, you can see it still on the wall. The doorknob from the door slammed through the wall and destroyed it, made a giant hole. This focusing is really pissing me off. It's not working very well. Wow, okay. This is the fuse box, which I've never used yet, which is good. This is the intercom, which does not work. They disabled these intercoms like 5 years ago, and apparently you can only buzz people in through the phone system, which sucks because if my internet goes down, I have no phone system. Alright, so that's the front door. Obviously, you have a mat here with my shoes. I have an area here where I put my shoes. Yes, that is a bag of cat litter. I've been using that, throwing it down outside on the ice to try to get the ice to melt, or at least to give me some traction on the ice. Various coats and winter attire here. This ginormous box is the box for my new TV, which we will be looking at. I have not had a chance to get it outside because it is very icy out there still. It's been very warm this week and the ice is melting, which is good. And as soon as the ice is completely gone from the dumpster area, I'll be taking this over there. But yeah, that's the box from the TV that just came the other day. So now we'll head into the kitchen, which has not changed very much since the last time anyone's seen it. I mean, here we have an empty
Except
wall.
for all that trash that was on the floor. You got 2 bags of trash on the floor. Just walk it down. The box, fair enough. But for those 2, you're just gonna leave just trash on your fucking floor like that, snowing or not. You know what I mean? Just be careful. Shit, that's not. It's whatever. Jesus Christ.
Little cubby hole here with. I usually put a case of waters on top of this storage rack here. Some goodies down here. I got a.
Oh, never mind. We got pizza boxes down there too. Wow, he's just like Amberlyn. Gee, or he was anyway. He's just like Amberlyn Reed. Oh my god. I don't know if he had roach problems, but that's not a good look. Also, I want you to keep keep this in mind over the next few videos, or at least the next few Condo videos, I should say. Condo videos when it comes to this rack, because it's gonna change dramatically when Panda comes into his life.
And vac, a couple snacks. There's Gamer Grub, which I did a review on. I haven't finished any of the bags of that yet. Some candy, Brita water filters. I mean, everything you can think of. There are those mana potions, which I drank one for DSP Tries It, and I never want to drink another one again because they're so disgusting. And down here, I put my recyclables. My trash can.
Empty liquor bottles there. Woo, boy.
Couple vacuums, recyclables and trash that need to go out to the dumpster, but like I said, it's been so icy, I only go once a week, so it all builds up here. Here's the calendar, which I reviewed with you guys, of my gaming schedule, and tournament schedule, and travel schedule, etc., etc. There's the Hateful Truth clock, which I purchased quite a while ago. It's gigantic. It's over a foot wide and tall. It's pretty cool. My fridge, and a couple cool things. I have this board here where I usually write notes. I haven't updated it in about a month, so it still says, yeah, up next is Dead Space 2. Yeah, that's coming next. This really neat thing here, I got this from Brookstone. This is
that Phil will always have like he'll almost always have like a negative output, or a negative viewpoint, I should say, as it pertains to Dead Space 2, given the whole Dead Space 2 demo from blip.tv. Oh man, they're permanently hand in hand walking into hell with that. That's wild. It's amazing too that some of the aspects of Phil's history that defines him are things that he could really never change. You know what I mean? And were completely avoidable. And I think back then he assumed that because he was still growing in popularity, if that's what you want to call it, that that history would fade. You know what I mean? Over time. Like, he wouldn't have to worry about it. Nah, that's not how that works. That's not how it works. Especially with the fallout with Blip, and then the situation where his fallout with Blip, by the way, I'm not sure if I've mentioned this on the main channel, but his fallout with Blip is a lot bigger, or it's a lot more catastrophic in some ways than it's led on to be, because he had a chance to be part of Blistered Thumbs, which is part of that guy with the glasses, and be part of their gaming division, if you will, which would have been good exposure, a great exposure to some degree. Depending on how long he decided to stay with them, hopefully he would have jumped ship before all the fallout from the bullshit that came later. But it could have been very good exposure, and it could have opened him up to a whole new demographic. But not only that, but also it would allow him to associate with people like Spoonie One, as well, and other. They had some game journalists over there as well, some other people, other guys who were doing gaming podcasts and so on and so forth. That could have really broadened his horizons, if you will, when it comes to all the different things that gaming and gaming had to offer him. It was more than just day one views. There was so much more to it. And I think he could have learned how to do it, at least to some degree, the right way. Or if you look at where Angry Joe, who's over there, look at where he eventually went. Look at where he eventually ended up going. Like his production and things like that. Phil could have been at the ground floor for some of that. You know what I mean? And at least had an understanding of how some of that worked, and he could have bit a bunch of it, or stole a bunch of it, whatever you want to call it. But he could have, that experience, I think, and being around those type of people, at least in the short term, could have been beneficial. In the long term, that's debatable.
Weather monitor that basically is based off of a satellite, and the satellite each day tells you what kind of weather you're going to have. It's based off weatherchannel.com, I believe, and some days it's really good and some days it's awful. It's just not correct at all, which is pretty funny. This was my game schedule notes from when I did my game schedule video. Cabinets up top, nothing major here, but nice wooden cabinets. Microwave, stove, which you've seen all this before if you watch any of my Poorly Cooking with the King series, so this is nothing new for you guys.
We're gonna go over those as well. I think he did like 6 or 7 of those, so look out for that one. Try not to eat before watching them.
Sink and all that, typical, tile floor, which is nice. I like the tile floor. Dishwasher, yada yada yada. Nothing interesting here. Let's get to the good stuff. All right. So starting here, we have the countertop, and as you see, this countertop is really, it's a wooden bar. It's a wooden bar that goes around.
Really good. So actually, I did catch the drink. Like I said, there was 2 bottles on the ground next to the trash can. If you guys go back, you can see it. One I think is a Bacardi bottle, which is rum, and the other one I'm pretty sure was a Tanqueray, which is gin. But like I said, don't completely hold me to that, but I'm pretty sure that's what the 2 were that I saw. Could have been a third one, and that's his gin and tonic right there. Could be gin and Sprite, but it looks like tonic because I don't see the bubbles, and so on and so forth. But the main reason why I stopped here, ladies and gentlemen, was the mythos that Phil was doxxed by his detractors, right? That it was, my detractors are the ones who put my information out there, and they're the ones who expose me, and so on and so forth. I hope over these next Condo tours I can actually prove otherwise. Now, granted, it's already been proven multiple times over by multiple detractors that are far more talented than myself. But there's nothing wrong with reiterating the situation.
The edge of my kitchen, and it's really useful for when people come over. They eat on it, they drink on it. It's really nice. So what is this guy? Well, people have seen this in my videos before. This is a bronze statue of a locust from Gears of War, and beneath his feet is, I forget this guy's name, I think his name is Dead Fred. He's actually a pen holder. What you're supposed to do is like put him here and then put a pen in his chest like this. But I found that the pens that I use aren't normal pens. The pens that I really like are the ones that have like the ball points, and those leak into this guy. So rather than using him as a pen holder, I've actually been just putting him underneath this statue from Gears of War, this locust, and it looks pretty cool. It looks like he killed him. This here is the book that I take all of my notes in for wrestling shows, for the Smart Guy shows.
It's funny, too, because he talks about the whole King of Hate moniker, right, and what it really stands for and all that bullshit. We'll go over that because there are old FGC videos out there and old beefs and grudge matches he's had that I can't wait to tear into some of that. If I haven't already recorded them at this point, or at least some of them. But he actually thought it was a good idea to market himself as the King of Hate. And if he was going to do so, he didn't maximize his opportunities with it. Like, first off, having this right here, this face, and then hate at the bottom is not a good look. Unless you're trying to appeal to a certain demographic of people, or what people would consider hate groups. This isn't a good look, to be honest. And don't be wrong, there's a bunch of different personalities in gaming, as there are in any community in general. This probably wasn't marketed the best way. But whatever, you want to run with that, you got to run with that. From a business standpoint, he could have built off this. Like, I mean, really built off it. I'm not talking about the lame, fucking low-effort bullshit that he did. I'm talking about going out to some of the game publishers, or not game publishers, but some of the gaming media outlets, right? And talk to them about, could he potentially have a segment that he pre-records and sends to them, shitting on whatever the new games are for the week or whatever. For the first couple of segments, just to see how it works, he purchases the games that come out that week. He purchases them on what? Games come out on Tuesdays usually? I guess back then. It was like on Tuesdays, right? And then he sends it to them on Friday. They kind of go through it. They can make their edits and cuts or whatever. And then they put it out on like Saturday or Sunday, right? And go through a couple episodes, see how it works, see how people are receptive to it. And then if it's something they can branch out upon, then so be it. Then he's like, okay, if you guys actually sit, because, you know, some of those game media outlets will get the games well beforehand. You guys send me a copy of the game so I can do it, so I can actually, do my reviews or whatever. And then I'll send it to you and I can have it done in a much more timely manner. If he had done that, and if they were willing to agree to it, that could have been a hella lucrative little deal. Even with what little money they may or may not have paid him, just off getting free games. He's going to publish stuff on his YouTube channel anyway. Plus, he's getting a much larger exposure, whether good or bad, on a much larger gaming media site. It only works out. Like, you know what I'm saying? He could have literally been one of the front runners, you know what I mean, of your kind of asshole video game reviewers, and he just didn't have the foresight for it. And it's kind of, yet again, you'll see as we go through more of this DSP lore, it's really just wasted opportunities because he just didn't have the vision. He didn't have any creativity. And what little creativity he may or may not have had, most of it was ideas that were given to him by other people, and he couldn't even build off of it. He saw it for what it was at its base, and he just went with it. He didn't try to build. He didn't try to do more. And I think that's one of the larger shames when it comes to DarksydePhil. There's plenty of people out there who are like, why do you waste your time on this individual? And for various reasons, and they say it in various ways. But I think Phil is a fair point to make on someone who had all the opportunities in the world and squandered all of it. And then had the nerve to say that, oh, I wasn't given any opportunities. I didn't have any chances. I built everything that I had. No, you didn't. You really didn't. There was always someone there with him every step of the goddamn way. There was always someone presenting ideas to him. There was always someone that he could work off of. He had, and on top of the individual opportunities that was presented to him as well. And he pissed each and every goddamn ounce of it away. Just like he does with his gin. He pissed it all away. So hopefully that's one of the things I can convey moving forward.
Once a week with John Rambo. And at this point, it's about half full, I'd say. Look at this. All the notes I've taken from all the wrestling shows starting back in October of last year when we started that show. Pretty cool. Here, I won't show you the address, but this is, except for the Burger King coupons on top, this is a pile of paperwork. This is a funny story. When I moved into this condo, okay, about 6 months after I moved in, I was told by the mortgage company who holds my mortgage that I don't have enough insurance to cover this condo in case it floods. And they wanted me to buy my own insurance policy to cover it, okay? So I did. I went and bought it, and it was a big hassle to prove to them that I had bought this policy. Then after I went out of my way to prove that I bought this policy, they said, oh, well, we would have bought a policy for you on your behalf if you didn't get your own, and it would have actually been cheaper than what you're paying now to the insurance company where you bought your policy through. And this is a stack of paperwork. I'm not even kidding. Letters from the condo, or I'm sorry, from the mortgage company saying...
That's right next to it that has your information on it? Okay. Okay, no problem.
Can you please prove to us that you have enough flood insurance? And then there's other letters from the flood insurance company. Here's proof of your flood insurance. At this point, I just don't give a fuck anymore. I'm supposed to prove to my mortgage company by the end of February that I have flood insurance. I don't give a fuck. I'm going to let them buy whatever they want and do whatever they want at this point, and I'll pay for it because I'm just tired of the hassle. These are some really...
Which, yet again, another problem that Phil Bruno has. Like... It's not... I understand that it may be annoying, right? But you do live on the ground floor in a state that does rain quite a bit. Better safe than sorry. Yeah, you may have worked with someone who's a bit incompetent, or they didn't know exactly what they were doing, or someone conveyed the wrong information to you or whatever, but you don't let other people dictate how you spend your money. Because if you do, then it opens you up for them to just do it recklessly. That's why a lot of like movie stars and or celebrities, I should say. That's why like a lot of celebrities and sports athletes and so on and so forth get screwed over by their tax preparators or the people who manage their money and so on and so forth. Because they have so much of it coming in, they don't really care, where it all goes as long as their lifestyle is maintained and at least the majority of their bills are paid. And then they find out they ain't paid taxes in like 5 or 6 years. Yikes.
Really cool Burger King coupons. Buy one, get one free, most of them. But I've only used a couple of them in the past couple of weeks. Gum that I'm never going to use because I don't chew gum. So we've got Think Gum, Jolt Gum. These are supposed to be like caffeine-infused gums, and but I don't chew gum. Other things, this is my old wallet, which I kept just in case my new wallet fell apart, but my new wallet's...
So why did you buy it? Because I think he had all that when he used to actually work. I'm just going to call it what it is. When he used to actually work. So either throw them away or give them to a friend of yours or whatever, but you obviously chew gum. You know what I mean? So why'd you buy it? And they're all that like energy boosting type gums or type products. He's had gum, he's had caffeine pills or caffeine infused candy, the little miniature shots, you know what I'm saying, like 5-hour energies and stuff like that. He had stuff like that before that. He's had those too. So what the fuck you buy it for if you weren't going to use it? Just wasteful. King of hate. They should call him the king of waste.
Doing well. My old. You know what? I'm going to get rid of this fucking thing right now. I just realized it was still there. I've had that sitting there for like 8 months, so arrivederci. Oh, good. Now I can put the Think Gum where that was, and I can push my paperwork up and give me some more room. These are receipts from some things that I bought in the fall, just in case I was going to return them, but I think I'm going to keep them. Lots of chapstick, because this has been the coldest winter in a long-ass freaking time. My lips are all messed up. These silver coins are actually from a local supermarket. They usually, they're for discounts. So, for example, if you want to buy a loaf of store bread, you can usually get it for free if you give them a coin. As you can see, I usually don't buy a lot of that stuff that the discounts are on. Usually it's on the worst stuff in the store, so I have a shit ton of those built up. And these here are markers and metallic markers that we've used to sign joysticks, joystick art, and other things. And as I attend tournaments and gaming events this year, I plan to take these with me so that if people want me to sign something, I have a marker that can pretty much write on anything. You get your typical Sharpie, but then you've got your gold markers, which will write on anything, and then also some a silver pen there. This is my wallet. This is pretty cool. My wallet is made of duct tape. It's called the Ducty wallet, okay? And this is the best wallet I've ever had in my entire life. It's jam-packed with cards, and I have a spare key in here. I have all kinds of objects in here, but look how thin it is. I mean, this is it stays compact in my pocket, and I don't feel like a giant bulge in my pocket when I'm driving. I love that wallet, and I recommend it to anyone. Look for that, the Ducty Duct Tape Wallet. It's amazing. This is a letter from my condo association telling me, "Hello, Phil. We're not,
Bad shot.
raising. Yeah, you know what? Everyone knows my
I'm not gonna be
address
a
at this
dick about it.
point.
You know
It's
what I mean.
on the fucking internet. I mean."
All right, there you go. Thanks, Phil. I appreciate the backup on that. Ladies and gentlemen, does that look like somebody who was doxxed? Just saying. He took the liberty of protecting it the first time, right? He took the liberty to protect it the first time when we were going through the coupons and him going over his story, but now there it is, clear as crystal. Now, here's another little interesting tidbit. So when we initially walked in there, I told you how we saw the top of those liquor bottles that are on the floor next to all that trash that he's kind of walloping in. It is what it is. But when he went to throw that wallet away, which I wonder if he made sure everything was out of it beforehand. I don't know. I want to trust that he did, but you never know. When he walked to that trash can to throw that wallet away, he made sure that we completely avoided the liquor bottle that time, or liquor bottles, empty ones. He made sure we avoided that the second time around. That's cute. But yet you're willing to put this out there. Really? Really? That's how we're going to play it, champ? All right. So, Phil was doxxed by detractors. Keep that in mind.
Holy shit, like, I'm not even trying to hide it anymore. It's only been said by 7,000 trolls. Like, what's the big deal? You know, nothing's gonna happen. Come see me and I'll fuck you up if you're gonna be an asshole. You know what I mean?
Really? But didn't you say in like an Axe the King or something that you were afraid that the guy who was doing the This Is How You Don't Play, Evil AJ is who he's referring to, big ups to him, that Evil AJ might come to your house and murder you just because he did a This Is How You Don't Play on you? That's what Phil said. That's what Phil said. Oh my god. But you're okay with putting your address out there so he can come and allegedly murder you. Wow. I mean, he already murdered your career. Why would he need to do anything with you? The damage has been done. Even though Phil did it to himself. Because another part of the mythos, ladies and gentlemen, is that, when I started doing this, I didn't take it seriously. It wasn't meant to be taken seriously. It was just part of my act. It was part of my gimmick to play games bad and rage about it. And, everybody was supposed to laugh at it and have a good time. Until people pointed out that you were actually shit at games that you didn't care to be good at because it was all part of the act. Why did you get mad at that situation then? If your whole gimmick is to play games poorly, why would you get mad that someone made a video that emphasizes it? That seems weird. Right? Like, doesn't that seem odd? That's like someone making a tribute video to like Denzel Washington for all of his best roles that he took seriously, and he wanted to bring the best of him and his abilities out for those roles. And him being mad about it, that someone emphasized emphasized the fact that he did well in those roles. It's like him being mad at something like that, or any actor really. That makes no sense. Which is one of the biggest things about the whole "This Is How You Don't Play" movement, or at least early on, that never made any sense to me. Like, at that time, ladies and gentlemen, let me reiterate this. At that time, he was known for playing games poorly. Well known. Why are you upset that a video comes out that says that? Or not says it, but proves it. You know what I mean? What's the point? And the reason why I say what's the point, ladies and gentlemen, is because by the time This Is How You Don't Plays come out, those playthroughs are done. Those playthroughs are already out, and he's already made, all of his money off of it. So what do you care that someone comes in and just emphasizes your terrible decisions, which is all part of your act anyway, which is supposed to be like the draw, right? because you're supposed to be doing it in a very comedic type of way? You don't take this seriously? It doesn't mean anything? Why are you upset? Semantics.
Okay. This is a letter from my condo association telling me that basically they're not raising my condo fees this year, but they're going to charge me a special fee for 3 months for renovations. So wait a minute. You're not raising my condo fees, but you're going to charge me extra money. Doesn't that mean you're raising my condo fees? I love how they try to, finagle their fucking wording and make you sound like it's a positive when it's really not. Here I have some energy candies.
That's
which I have not used since I actually got
now. And that's one of the really crazy. That's not crazy. It's crazy in a way, but that's one of the more interesting aspects of DarksydePhil. He is very much, the saying goes, "Do unto others as they do unto you." With Phil, it's people did this to me, so now I'm going to do it to everybody else. He's very much the eternal victim, while also being a victimizer himself. You know what I mean? He's very, very good at it. And you'll see a lot of that later on when we go through some of the FGC stuff, where he feels like he was slighted or disrespected, or he didn't get certain advantages or certain types of, or he didn't get certain types of, what's the word I'm looking for? Concessions, or he wasn't catered to in certain ways as other top players or notable players were, and he takes some of that same animosity and uses that against his own fan base later on down the line, and uses some of that same animosity to try to tear down or talk down other content creators and their content at later times and dates as well. It's absolutely amazing, because when it was happening to him, or when he thought it was happening to him, he was quick to squeal like the proverbial pig, right? Get it ready to have bacon cut off his back. But he had no qualms about doing it to everybody else. And what did he hide behind, ladies and gentlemen? What was his excuse for doing it? Oh, that's just my opinion. Oh, I'm just being honest. Oh, I call it the way I see it. But when it was happening to him, oh, they're trying to hold me back. Oh, they're jealous of me. Oh, they don't want to acknowledge me and accept the fact that I'm as good as they are. Yet most of those people, if we're talking about the FGC, most of those people have Evo wins under their belt. They didn't sit there and try to stand on, oh, I won Evo qualifiers, or I had top placement at Evo qualifiers. They went off and actually won majors. They went off and actually won the actual big dance, which is Evo. They actually qualified for Super Battle Opera, or SBO, and actually won. Some of them. They have a right to say so. They have a right to gloat if they chose to do so, and most of them didn't. They didn't run around for over a decade saying that you have to respect me because I took 4th place at Evo 2005. Just saying. Priorities, ladies and gentlemen. Priorities.
Laid off from my job. Some of these are supposed to have like caffeine infused. This one's pretty cool, actually. It's called Chargers, and what they are they're actually little beans. It's like a coffee bean mixed with chocolate. It's pretty tasty. But all right, this is a model of Super Skrull. I don't know how well you can see him. You've probably seen him in my channel update videos. I got him when I heard he was announced for Marvel vs. Capcom 3. I knew he was probably going to be good, and incidentally, he's really good. And so here he is. I've got 2 armbands here, which I actually have worn a couple times to events and also to the Don'tBlowThis.com Super Turbo Revolution streams. You've got the Autobots, which I stole from Howard's house because he was sitting in like a cabinet and he never even opened it. And I got this Bullet Bill, which I got from online. That's pretty cool. This is.
So wait a second. Didn't you almost in a half-ass attempt? Didn't you kind of make it sound like Howard finagled you out of a? Actually, it could have been twice, because there is a Super Turbo board that is talked about, and then there's an actual arcade stick. I don't remember the arcade stick part. That doesn't mean it didn't happen. It just means I don't remember it. So maybe we'll go over it one day. But I do remember that Super Turbo board. So Phil actually bought a Super Turbo arcade board. He doesn't have an arcade machine, or an arcade cabinet, I should say. So what the fuck would he even need it for? But he ordered one. Howard was over at his house or something. He found it, and he was like, "Oh, Phil, you got a Super Turbo board? That's cool." And he's like, "Yeah, I'm not doing anything with it. I don't even know if the damn thing works. Hey, man, you can go ahead and have it. I don't care. I'm not going to ever use it for anything anyway. I don't even know why I bought it." So Howard was like, "Oh, okay." He goes and tests it and finds out that it doesn't work. But he has a friend of his that either can refurbish boards or knows someone who will do it. Howard pays $40, $50, whatever it was, to get the board redone. Get the board refurbished, and then they start going ahead and using it. Phil comes by Howard's house one day, and he finds out about the board got redone, and the board's not working. And Phil's like, "Oh, hey, when can I have my board back?" And Howard's like, "What?" He's like, "My board that I gave you." I was like, "When can I have it back?" Dude, I paid like $40 or $50 to get this to get it working, to get it refurbished, and get it to get it redone, and so on and so forth. You said I could have it. Oh, well, okay, but you got it working now, so, can I have it back? For what? You don't have a cabinet. You're going to pay me the money that I spent to get it fixed? And then Howard was like, "Fuck off." So there's that. But yet you're at Howard's house. You see an armband that's in one of his fucking drawers or cabinets. So you're rummaging through Howard's shit, basically. You find this in packaging, never open, and you decide to just go ahead and take it because, well, he's not using it anyway. What the fuck? Now, I'm not accusing him of outright thievery. It's very possible that Phil found it in a cabinet or in a dresser or whatever. "Hey, Howard, using this?" Howard's like, "Nah, man, you can have it. Go ahead. It's cool." And then he just went ahead and banged off with it. No problem. But you know damn well that Howard didn't steal that board from you. You knew that you gave it to him. But the moment he was able to get it working, you wanted it back? So what? You could have some type of control over Howard for some reason? Another thing, too. That head-to-head cabinet that Howard has, you see it in, like, Project 7 or whatever. It's a Super Turbo. It's like the Japanese head-to-head ones. Howard and John actually paid to get that cabinet. My question is, why didn't Phil put in on that? Phil has told in many of his old vlogs, and he's referenced this in videos and stuff, about how much time he spent over there at Howard's house playing it and practicing for upcoming tournaments or whatever. But why didn't you throw any initial money on it when they purchased it? But then that leads to something even better. I have an even better question. Back in those days, as you can now, it's a little harder now, but back in those days, Phil could have bought himself an arcade cabinet, had it in his living room, and it could have fit because he's downstairs. He's on the bottom floor. Why didn't you just buy yourself an arcade cabinet? He could have bought one for like $2,000 or $3,000 back then. And especially with all the crazy YouTube money he was making, he could have done that. He could have bought a Super Turbo cabinet. He could have bought a Marvel vs. Capcom 2 cabinet or CVS 2 cabinet, but mainly Super Turbo because he doesn't really have room for all that shit anyway. But he could at least fit that there. Why the fuck didn't you just buy one? You could have done it, and then when you moved across country, same concept. You put the, you know what I'm saying? Get a dolly under that bitch, wheel it into the pod, and then it gets shipped across, and then leave it downstairs. What I'm saying, ladies and gentlemen, is for someone who is so in love with Super Turbo and is such an enthusiast, you would think he would purchase it because some of his contemporaries did. You know what I mean? And I'm not saying that he has to keep up with the Joneses, despite the fact he tried to keep up with the Joneses. But why didn't you utilize your money better? You know what I mean? Like, why couldn't you have done that? He could have done tutorials. Like, for example, he makes up these claims about how, or he makes these claims, I should say, about how Super Turbo doesn't run correctly and so on and so forth. You go to any fighting game forum, you can hear the same thing, but they describe it a little bit differently than Phil does, but semantics. If Phil actually purchased himself a cabinet, he could have literally shown side by side. Also, cabinets aren't extremely difficult to keep up with. You know what I mean? And knowing Phil, he wouldn't have kept up with it much anyway. He would have just bought the parts. Or he would have just bought replacement parts or whatnot. And more importantly, if you're not using it, either shut it off or unplug it. Or both. I don't know. Whatever. We're in a day and age now where people build their own cabinets, so it is what it is.
The SIG water bottle with my King of Hate logo on it, which you can get at my Cafe Press webpage, cafepress.com/DarksydePhil. That's up there. There's also a lot of other versions of those SIG water bottles. I love this thing. I've taken this to every single Don't Blow This stream. I've taken this to tournaments. It's really cool. It keeps the water cold, and it's durable as hell. It's made of metal. It's not made of like plastic or anything. It's the most durable bottle I've ever had. I dropped it on the floor 100 times. It never dented or broke. So the last thing before we move on, this is a bar, so obviously I have a nice gin and tonic waiting for me once I finish this video series. So we'll be right back with part 2 of DSP's.
That right there will make a good screenshot. Definitely make a good, probably make a good thumbnail. But yeah, that's the proverbial drink of choice, ladies and gentlemen.
Condo tour, where we'll head into the living room and we'll go from there. Alright, so welcome to part 2 of DSP's Condo tour. I'm going to back up a little bit here to show you that on the bar here, I actually have 3 bar stools. That's my tripod, by the way. It's my giant tripod. I have 3 bar stools. Unfortunately, 2 of them are occupied by bags. This was my messenger bag that I used to take to work every single day with my work laptop and all my work equipment until I got laid off in September. So now it's just kind of sitting here. I'll probably be taking that with me on trips to tournaments this year, since I'll be trying to take a laptop with me. This is my back.
Remember, ladies and gentlemen, September 2010 was the beginning of the end of Phil's adult work life. Oh, so good. It's funny, too. I'm not sure if you guys noticed this. I'm sure most of you do. But if any of you guys have actually, for any of you brave souls who have sat there and listened to a pre-stream, especially in recent years, he doesn't give you his life story anymore about how he was laid off from his job and he took his hobby and turned it into his new profession and all that stuff. But back in like 2016, 2017, like clockwork, that was like a 15-minute segment, 10 to 15 minutes, where he talked about that religiously. Like, he had to keep reiterating to people that he was unjustly fired from his job, and he got lucky, and he was the one in the million. He was the exception to the rules and shit, and was able to turn his hobby into his job. He doesn't do that anymore because people pick that shit apart. But back in the day, that was something that he had to reiterate daily for people. Daily. Absolutely fucking amazing. Absolutely amazing. But then again, that proves my point, though, that he's someone of repetition. You know what I mean? Like, once he starts something, he keeps doing it. He keeps doing it. And he can't break it. Because if he does, it'll throw off, like, his whole mood for the day. And it's a lot like him taking Tuesdays off to go shopping. And when he goes shopping, he goes with Kat, obviously, because he used to go shopping with his mother on Tuesdays. As well as many things. The snorting also may fall into that, as I believe it's a coping mechanism. But who could say? He has these little tics that he's had throughout his internet career, but I'm sure he's had throughout most of his life, that kind of shows and is a testament to why he does things the way he does it. But then again, at least with the snorting, that right there is a blatant lie in itself, saying that, oh, I can't do it, I can't breathe, or I can't talk for long periods of time without snorting because of yada, yada, yada. But in all these important phone calls, or in those fucking bullshit interviews, and all this other stuff that he's done over the years, over many years, you don't hear any of it. You don't hear those things. So how is it that you can have a 2-hour-long pre-stream and you're snorting it up on the regular, yet you can be on a 45-minute phone call, or you can be on a 2 or 3 hour podcast with someone and there's not a snort in sight? You see how that's a thing? Just saying.
Backpack, my Swiss Army backpack, which is really good for taking joysticks to tournaments. It's the perfect size to fit a joystick, either a Mad Catz or a Hori joystick, and a couple other odds and ends like my camera with me to a tournament. Up top we have a bronze statue of Mephisto. Lots of people have asked me about this. Who is this guy? This is Mephisto from the Marvel Universe. He's basically the equivalent of the devil, and he's pretty much unbeatable. No one's ever been able to stop him from doing whatever he wants to do in the Marvel Universe, so I thought that was really cool. This is my phone. This is the BlackBerry Bold. It is old. It's about 2 years old now. And I like it though because I get all my email, I can get instant messenger, I can get BlackBerry Messenger, I can get phone calls obviously, I can get a whole bunch of stuff just tuned into this thing. I'm not a fan of the iPhone. I don't care about apps, I don't care about touchscreen and all that fucking fancy bullshit. All I want is usability, and this is pretty good. The only problem, this is on AT&T service, and AT&T service is pretty bad in my area. Actually,
remember, I don't care about iPhones. I don't need all that bullshit. Lives on his iPhone now. Oh boy. And not that people can't change their opinion about stuff, because it tends to happen more often than not. But Jesus Christ, Phil. Like, with people who go back and watch your old videos or longtime fans call you out on that shit, you get mad at it. Why? You said it. You obviously meant it. So what's the problem? Like, you don't have to fucking give your hot take on every little goddamn thing. You know what I mean? You're not nitpicking the very aspects of your life. That's why you got people like me doing it. Oh, the nice rock bobblehead in the corner there. And that bottle of Bailey's.
in the condo, it's pretty funny. No one gets service in the condo. When people come in here, they're like, oh, I got a call 2 hours ago, and I just got notified that there's a voicemail. I'm like, yep, this is a dead zone, so nothing much you can do there. All right, we got some mixed nuts. We got some pistachios behind there. Phone books and such. Some menus from local places. We've got the Rock. That canister next to him, that Bailey's canister, I used to put spare change in. Here's some spare change I was too lazy to put into it, so it's sitting on the bar. Some DVDs hidden behind there in the corner. Then we got my first end table, which has a lot of stuff on it at this point. Holy shit, look at the amount of stuff on this end table. You've got in the corner the PS Move, both the thumbstick controllers and also I think they're called the navigation controllers, and also the actual PS Move controllers with the colored ping pong balls. You got a lamp, you got a box of tissues just in case anyone needs to sneeze. This is a digital photo frame. I've got some photos in there from family events and also from some get-togethers with friends from years gone by. And I turn that on from time to time. Yes, this is where the Hulk resides. This is my gigantic model of the Hulk. It's amazing. It's super detailed. I love the damn thing. He wants to eat your brains. And it's really cool. I got this from SideshowCollectibles.com. Everyone asked me, where'd you get this model from? I got so many messages since my Marvel vs. Capcom 3 preview video. It's from SideshowCollectibles.com. They make the best models. And good luck getting him because he's completely sold out and they're not making any more. This is a pocket reference guide I actually got. It's really cool. It's a small book, but it has information on anything you would ever need to know. I mean, any kind of scientific measurement. It just has so much information in it in a small book. I know I'm going to use this 1,000 times in my life. Under the table, we got a bunch of boxes for models and statues and such that I have throughout the condo, which you're going to see, so we won't even look at those, but I kept the boxes just in case I move. I have a way to move those safely. There's my little mini tripod, which I put on my coffee table when I record video games. So now we're moving on to my sofa. There's a pillow that I actually lean my back against whenever I kind of try to relax on my sofa because my back's all messed up, and it actually helps me. So here's my sofa. Moving on to the other coffee table here. We've got my Xbox Live headset, wireless headset. We've got a mini tripod, which I've only used during my StarCraft 2 playthrough and have never used it again. But I get the feeling I will use it again in the future. Another lamp, obviously. I don't even know what the hell this is. It's like some DVDs covered in cardboard, and I've never even looked at them. This is my flashlight in case the power goes out. And this...
And you'll see that as we go through these condo videos too, just like the... I mean... Okay, we all have impulse buys, right? Like, you can't really shit on people for that. But with Phil, it's like to the extreme. Like, and he's admitted this too, that he'll sit there and he'll purchase something because, you know, at the time, if he's in a Best Buy or wherever he's at, he looks at it and he's like, oh shit, I've kind of wanted to see this movie, or I heard good things about it. Oh, I'll pick it up. And he'll buy a bunch of other shit. He'll get home. He'll take the shit out of the bag that he's really looking forward to actually getting into, and he'll just leave the rest. Or, as in one video that I remember distinctly, he went in there and bought, he went into a Best Buy with John and Howard, and they bought a bunch of shit. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, John bought a couple of things that he needed or wanted, Howard bought some stuff, and Phil bought a bunch of crap. And there was one bag that had just a bunch of shit in it. And he forgot all about it. Like the big purchase, or big purchases that I should say, that he made in the shopping trip, he just took those, set those up, and they got started. And this other bag sat in his fucking corner of his condo for like months. And it was only when John was like, hey, what's in that bag? And opened it up, they realized that it was, I don't know, it was like probably like a bunch of games and stuff. And I think there was a controller in there, and there might have been a few other things that he had purchased from like months previous and never opened it. It had the receipt and everything in there, but he never opened any of them up. And they were like, Phil, you really sat there and just let this here? He's like, oh, I guess I just forgot about it. And he's like, well, at least we have an extra controller. And they were like, didn't you buy a controller like last weekend or something? Yeah, whatever. It just goes to show, you can, just because you want everything doesn't mean that you appreciate anything. You know what I mean? And that should be the real takeaway from that type of behavior. And, ladies and gentlemen, this is a behavior that he has demonstrated all the way up till today. It didn't change. And that's why the lore, at least for me anyway, I can only speak for myself, that's why I enjoy the lore videos, because you're really seeing the first hooves in the sand, if you will, on why he is the way he is. And a lot of the hypocrisy in it. Because a lot of, as I said earlier on, a lot of the things that he used to, a lot of the accusals, if you will, or accusations, I should say. The accusations that he used to throw at people, other YouTubers, people in the FGC, and so on and so forth, he does it himself. He does it to this very day. So when Phil says, "Oh, I've changed. I'm not the person that I used to be," you've proverbially gotten worse. You've progressively gotten worse over the years. So when he sits there and says, "I'm not the person I was 10 years ago," you have, yet again, you got progressively worse. You've become worse within that same 10-year span. When he says that I'm not the person I was 10 years ago, he's trying to say I'm not the person in 2008, 2009 when he started on YouTube. But when you look at his history chronologically, he's only gotten worse. He's become a deficit to himself in a way no one else could, which is the reason why I say DarksydePhil is his worst detractor. He is his greatest detractor, by far. No detractor will ever be able to inflict the type of damage, who will ever set him back more than himself. Not Tevin, not Sons of Kojima, not Superhound, not anybody. There will never be anybody that hurt Phil Burnell more than Phil Burnell. Period. And Phil knows it. He knows he brought all this upon himself. And yet, he can't stop. He needs it. He needs the negativity now more than ever. More than ever. Do you hear him scream out DSP positive anymore? Or DS positive anymore? No. He gave up on that a long time ago. Because it didn't exist. It wasn't truthful. And it couldn't hold up. The negativity has always been the driving force behind DarksydePhil. He called himself the king of hate, for Christ's sake. He can go ahead and spin it and try to justify it to you any way he wants, but that's what he called himself. What positivity comes out of something like that? I'm an asshole. I'll be the first one to tell you. I'm not out here trying to go ahead and portray anything more than what you hear. I didn't make fucking stupid ass mistakes to end up where this asshole's at. And I just point that shit out to you because it's fucking ridiculous. It's fucking ridiculous that he was able to make it this far and he didn't crash and burn. All I do is point out, why did it have to happen? Why did he have to do it this way? What made him think it was a good idea to? And why didn't he look at the long-term ramifications? That's it. No one ain't sitting on no pedestal being like, ha ha ha, you know what I'm saying? I'm so much better than you and all this. Anybody can make a fucked up mistake. What I hope is that you won't. You won't make the mistakes he's made. Shit, that you won't make the mistakes that I've made as a detractor. I've made plenty of them. Plenty. So that's really what that comes from. And that's something that he can't even do. I'm watching the different events in his life. He actually lived it and didn't learn not a goddamn thing from it. That's the problem. So when people get upset about why you guys bother commenting on him, why can't the guy who actually lived through it comment on it? And more importantly, why can't he change? And since he can't change, hopefully some of you can. Jesus Christ. There's no reason why life should have turned out this way. He's had more opportunities than even he's realized. And squandered it away because he was short-sighted. And why? And even if one wanted to make the argument, oh, well, what about the people around him? You know, because you are the company you keep to some extent. So John and Howard seem to have done very well for themselves. OJ and the rest of them guys moved on and did fine for themselves. So it seems. Phil's the one that has to beg online every day. You guys, anybody here can go ahead and try to make the argument that he's successful all he wants. I'll hear you out, but it doesn't change anything. At the end of the day, he comes online to beg. Period. There is nothing that Phil does as guaranteed money. He has to beg to get those things. He begs for bits. He begs for subs. He begs for tips. The only thing he kind of doesn't have to beg for is YouTube, for YouTube ad revenue. Because he's going to get views no matter what. Not the views that he used to. He's making I think he gets between 8 and a million views a month. So what's that? $2,000. I don't know what his CPM is, but what's that, $2,000 or something like that? Outside of that, he has to essentially beg to make up to obtain everything else on Twitch, because Twitch is his platform, is it not? Twitch is his full-time job, is it not? Twitch is where he makes the bulk of his money, right? And how does he make money on Twitch? He doesn't have a guaranteed contract where they pay him a set amount to clock in. The only deal that he has with Twitch is that he has an exclusivity deal with them. He can only stream on their platform. That's it. That's it. Other than that, he has to hit the streets and these digital streets, if you will, and he has to make that money. And how does Phil make that money? By victimizing himself, by coming up with some of the most ridiculous scenarios for issues that I've ever heard, and to beg. He has to, what's the word I'm looking for? Or what's the thought that I have? He's completely and totally dependent on other people's generosity. Totally. Totally. If he doesn't have that, he has nothing. Because if people appreciated what he did, or what he does, I should say. If people appreciate what he does so much, then why does he have to keep coming up with these scenarios on why he needs money? Oh man, if you guys don't give me money, I'm going to go, I'm going to have to, I'm going to either have overdraft fees, I'm not going to be able to pay bills, I'm not going to be able to get groceries, I'm not going to be able to take care of my bills for either buying games or to keep the lights on. If you have a dedicated fan base who appreciates what you do daily, then those are things that shouldn't be coming up. They understand that you do this for a living and they should be willing to contribute to it. If you have to come up with scenarios like that, then we have a problem. And if you're relying on whales, one or two, instead of the actual fan base as a whole, you have a problem too, do you not? And it's the same man, ladies and gentlemen, who told us $1 a month. If each one of you gave me $1 a month, that he would be perfectly fine. Theoretically, he's right. But that's not what's going on, is it? His fan base, at least on Twitch, for example, and we'll get back to the Condo tour, is broken up into those who give subs, those who give bits, and then the people who give tips. That's it. They all are designated, if you will, to their particular functions, and that's that. And he bleeds them all in a particular way, depending on what he wants or what he needs to be done for that particular month or that particular time of the year. If you guys pay just a little bit of attention, you don't have to pay a lot of it. But if you pay a little bit of attention, you'll see it. Certain times of the year, we push subs. Certain times of the year, well, all year, we push tips. And then he'll hint at giving him bits or whatever the case may be, or cheering. It all works in a circle, and it's a very consistent circle. That's why when you look at other locales like Wings, like Amberlynn Reed, Chantel, they all have those cycle charts. If you guys have ever seen any of those things, you find on Kiwi Farms, they're hilarious and accurate. They're scary as shit. It's actually kind of scary to see how easy it is for people who took just a little bit of time to be able to psychologically break you down to that of a timetable and what you do. And Amberlynn Reed and Chantel have both admitted openly on video that yes, that I've seen those charts, or I've seen those and that go over their cycles, and they're like, yeah, it's absolutely right, and they can't break it. They cannot break it. Chantel said she wasn't even going to try to, because she already knew that's who she was. DarksydePhil is no different. Neither is Wings. Neither is Low Tier God. They all fall into those same categories as well. Just throwing it out there.
Is in my Guile, which is really sweet. It's a scale model, meaning if Guile was a real person, this would be, how tall the real person would be, with his improbable hair. It's really cool. I like him. Okay. Moving on, we'll look down and we'll see the mishmash of wires I have down here. Yeah, this is, let's see, the power adapter for my camera. That's right, my camera, because I don't want to run it off of battery. I actually run it off of the power adapter. I got the power adapter for my, what is that? That's my laptop, my Alienware laptop, which sits on my coffee table, which I'm going to show you in a second. And I guess that's it. It's just those two wires. Oh no, I take it back. There's also the charger for the Xbox wireless headset is down there as well. So now, since we talked about that, let's look at the coffee table. What's on here? Here's the Alienware laptop that doesn't work through HDMI anymore. The whole HDMI port is destroyed. All the knobs and everything in it are ripped out because it's a piece of shit. And the graphics drivers have crashed. I did restore it, so it kind of works now, but it's not fully functional. Let me put it that way. Kind of disappointed about that. All the 100 controllers for everything. Here's my DarksydePhil mug, which you see in all kinds of different videos. I'm always drinking out of it. I love the goddamn thing. Not a mug, but a beer stein. I'm sorry, it's a beer stein. I love the damn thing to death. I usually keep my current games that I'm playing and also any movies that I'm planning on watching soon on the coffee table. So here you have 3 copies of Marvel vs. Capcom 3. Underneath that is Call of Duty Black Ops. It's the thing that I played before that with a PlayStation 3 controller sitting on top. Here you've got the Friday the 13th anthology, which goes all the way up to part 8, I believe. The Fantasia and Fantasia 2000 double pack Blu-ray, and also Spider-Man 3. I watched Fantasia, but I haven't seen Fantasia 2000 ever, and I'm planning on watching that at some point. Spider-Man 3 I haven't seen since the theater. I never watched it at home, and I was thinking about watching it again, even though I really didn't like it that much in the theater. But the cool thing about this table that everyone loves, and everyone says, oh, I want this table, Phil, because it's a normal coffee table with storage space underneath, by the way. There's nothing under there right now. But, which I'm going to show you. The coffee table, oh shit, she spilled water all over the place. Great. The coffee table lifts up, and inside the coffee table, there's storage space. And in there, I have all of my control.
I actually think that's actually a pretty cool feature, to be honest. So, and yet again, even more of a justifiable reason why he should have brought it with him. He should have brought that with him. But whatever. Like I said, I think it's a cool concept.
Controllers. Here's my Wii gamepad. Here's the blasters for the PS Move. You've got all kinds of Wii controllers in there. On this side, you've got Xbox 360 controllers, another PS3 controller. As you can see, 100 things in there. It's really good for storage. And people ask me, where'd you get that table, Phil? Where'd you get it? Well, I got it at my local Bob's, and Bob's is a discount furniture store in my area. Let me dry up my mess that I just fucking made here. It wasn't that expensive. It was actually a pretty good deal. They usually sell them for pretty good prices at Bob's. But I've also seen these at name brand furniture stores for twice the price. And I can see why, because honestly, I've lived here for a year and a half, and this table is starting to fall apart. Every time I lift it, it feels like the hinges are starting to break. The top was easily, scratchable. But I really don't give a shit. I'm a guy, you know what I mean? I'm not here to have a fucking designer condo. You know, this isn't like gamer cribs where I use wood polish on my table every day. I don't give a shit. I'm a guy. I just use it, and if I get use out of it, that means that it was money well spent. So, fuck that shit. I love this table.
Yeah, but that doesn't mean that as a guy, people don't want to have a clean home, right? Or they don't want to have nice stuff that like kind of holds up, right? Like, you like women, right, Phil? And women like nice stuff, and they like comfortable stuff, right? Like, they don't want someone who fucking lives in a perpetual pigsty. Just saying. I mean, isn't that why you ended up asking your parents to get you a bigger bed later on? Isn't that why you converted your bathroom later on? Isn't that why you did all those things to accommodate Panda? Just something to think about, dude. Like, just be realistic about the situation. And one of the things as it pertains to the hinges is probably because you got too much shit on your table, which is obvious. That should scream out to him. It don't. Screams out to everybody else, but not him. And yet again, you just said that you don't really give a shit. So how do you expect to have functionality with the things that you own if you won't keep up with the things that you own? You ever thought about that? No? Okay. Just thought I'd throw it out there. Yet again, still a nice table though.
I think it's the best table ever. Alright, moving on here, because this is a mess. I'm going to warn you guys right now. This part of the condo is a complete mess. This is the back wall of my condo, okay? And all I have over here are boxes upon boxes upon boxes upon fucking boxes of boxes on top of boxes with extra boxes. And what this is, besides, this is a DVD stand over here. This is actually a swiveling chair that people used to sit in, but here's what happened. I bought all these statues and things, before I got laid off to redecorate the place, and I had all these plans on what I was going to do, and yada, yada, yada. And then I got laid off, and I basically said, well, I need to focus on...
Wait. You bought all of that stuff before you got... Wait. You bought all of those statues and everything before you were laid off? What? So, wait. If you sat there and splurged on all of that stuff, I'm not going to call it shit, because obviously it's going to have value to somebody. It had value to him at one time or another. You sat there and blew all your money on stuff right here, and then you get laid off, and the first thing you do is click ads. And the first thing you do after you get laid off is you say, hey guys, click ads because, I don't have a job anymore, and I got to figure out what I'm going to do next, and so on and so forth. What? Excuse me. Like, ladies and gentlemen, he was irresponsible with his money before the money even really kind of came in. So, let me reword that. He was making bad decisions financially before he actually got laid off from the helicopter job. And then when you look at what the YouTube money went, well, you can see that right there, right now. You can see just by the trash that was in his kitchen. Looks to me like a lot of takeout, a lot of ordering in, a lot of DSP trizits. Then you look at over here, you got multiple arcade sticks and whatnot, which is nothing necessarily wrong with that, as well as multiple copies of the same game. Yet again, nothing completely wrong with that because he was knee deep in the tournament scene. Yet at the same time, though, too, I mean, you had friends who had arcade sticks too. So why did you need to buy every single arcade stick that came out? You know what I'm saying? Why did you feel the need to buy every game that had that came out? Why did you feel the need to buy every fucking DVD to every single movie that came out? Not everyone, I'm exaggerating that part, but you know what I mean. Like, what was the point of all that? And then he cries and complains later on about how, I don't have enough space in my condo, and that's why I need a bigger place. So what? So you can fill that up too with a bunch of junk that you don't give a shit about? Going back to that Best Buy story I told you about. Like, we're just... Like, he's a consumer. Legitimately a consumer. And he cares not about anything else. Which is the reason why he's ended up where he ended up now. And all this could have been curbed years ago. Wow. Birdman. Brrr.
On YouTube and all that. And this stuff has kind of gone by the wayside, so it's just sitting around, and I'm not really worried about cleaning out this corner of my condo until it's basically I have a need to. So most of what you see is empty here, all these boxes for joysticks and such.
And if I remember correctly, he actually didn't clean any of that stuff up. His parents did. If I remember correctly. I think there was like there was some really bad storm or a chain, if you will, of storms that kind of hit the East Coast pretty hard. And like his back patio got really jacked up. And I don't think there was any real serious damage, but it was a pretty big mess. And, Phil, with his bad back, couldn't do anything about it. So his parents ended up coming by one day, and they actually did all that for him. They straightened all that up. And as a byproduct, if you already see trash in one area, you're going to obviously see trash in another area, and you're going to clean all that up too. So they helped him organize his condo and alleviate the shit he didn't need, and everything else they organized and put away. And then he just built upon that until he ended up moving. So that should be fun to look at.
This box and this box have joystick parts inside. These are the parts that I use to modify joysticks. The sticks that you've seen on eBay and such. So that's what's in there. These boxes here are empty. The two lower boxes are the Tournament Edition sticks we just sold, and the Marvel vs. Capcom 3 sticks, the round 3 of East Coast Customs. This is just random stuff I've ordered, and those boxes are empty. That's actually my PS3 joystick. Down there underneath is a small box. It has two TVC joysticks for the Wii inside that we're planning on modifying at some point. This is one of my Xbox 360 joysticks. That's one of my Xbox 360s. We had that hooked up to a TV over here the other day when we were all playing Marvel vs. Capcom 3. We had the two hookups going. This was one of them. And this was a folding chair someone was sitting in to play right here. Back wall of my condo. Windows that are all taped and barred up right now. My back door. This is the lamp, which is now blinding the camera. My air conditioner. There you go with the inflatable sword that you've seen before. Yes, that is the toy from my first Hateful Truth video. I still have it. It's the Walker from Red Faction Armageddon. Alright, we're going to come back. I'm going to show you my new TV and my AV setup, and then we're going to head on further into the condo. So I'll be right back. One quick thing I forgot to show everyone is back here where the Hulk statue is. There was actually a printout of the art that was the inspiration for that statue that I actually framed and put above the lamp here. So that's the art for that. But going back to where we were here in the corner, that's my back door, that's my air conditioner, etc., etc. Yes, I do have a back porch, but it's winter, it's covered in snow. I'm not going to go out there right now. So here's my AV setup, alright? This is my new TV. 55 inches, really fucking sweet. 120 hertz. I've noticed that when I watch TV, it looks amazing. When I watch anything in HD, it looks absolutely amazing. Excuse me. And for video games, it's really good because... why am I losing focus? For video games, it's really good because the TV's bigger, which means I don't need to zoom in as much. So have you seen on my recent Marvel vs. Capcom 3 footage over on DSP Street Fighter? It looks really, really good compared to my old footage. And incidentally, yes, the Kinect mount actually fits on top of this TV. So does the PS Move eye mount. So everything fits perfectly on top of this TV with no problems. Down here, what do we got? We've got my surround sound center speaker. There's my left speaker with a actual figurine of Odin on top of it from John Rambo's trip to Japan. He brought that back to me as a souvenir. We've got my cable box. We've got my Xbox 360 Elite. We've got my receiver, my Sony receiver, the Nintendo Wii. And right there, you can't really see it, but that's my PS3 hiding under there. And right here actually is a PS2. So all that's right there. This is my subwoofer. On top of that is my Linksys router. And here's my right speaker with John Mercer from Prototype on top of it. A little figurine that I got from that game. This is my basic desktop PC setup here. There's my desktop PC. It's dying. It really is. It's on its lap.
Yeah, see, that's that HP PC I was telling you guys about. I think I mentioned it in a previous video. Like I said, there should be like 5 PCs in all. So there's, like I said, there's that one right there. There should be one in his bedroom. And then there's the one that Chris and Teo built. Then there is the $3,000 Lemon that he ended up getting when he went to Washington. Then there's another black Acer desktop that he had when he that he bought before he ended up moving from Connecticut to Washington. And then he has 2 laptops. He has an Alienware one, which you've already seen, and then he has another one. And then I think, don't hold me to that, I think he still has Panda's old PC as well. Actually, I think he has both of them. Because, just in case you guys don't know the lore, Panda had a PC when they moved had her own personal computer when they moved to Washington State, and then it stopped working. Instead of taking it somewhere to get it checked out and maybe even get it fixed, he just bought her a brand new PC. If I remember correctly, when she moved out, she just left that. So then theoretically he has both of her PCs as well. But no home computer though. But he doesn't have a home PC. He just has the PCs for business. Oh my god, so good. So good.
Last legs. Here's my tower of hard drives. I have 5 external USB hard drives sitting on top of each other here. I'm actually on the 5th one. The 4 of them are full, and I'm on the 5th one. And I actually have another one in the bedroom I haven't opened yet. Here's the subwoofer from my computer speakers. I know you can't really see it. Keyboard, wireless mouse, another external hard drive. This is my oldest one from before I was ever on YouTube, is up here. This is that replacement modem from the one that I had last week. They replaced it. No problem so far. My phone, some camera accessories, etc., etc. This is a, I believe, 21-inch monitor that I use for my PC. Moving on here, this is my bookcase, and in my bookcase, this is pretty much just a nice, cool display of all kinds of stuff that I like. This is one of the major things that I redid when I started redecorating before I got laid off. As you can see up top, you've got a model of Thanos, okay, with Lady Death. And they're standing on top of a diorama that has Iron Man's helmet, Thor's hammer, Captain America's shield, and Silver Surfer's surfboard are all on there after Thanos conquered them in the Infinity Gauntlet. To the left, you've got a figurine of Scarlet Witch, and to the right, you've got a figurine of Psylocke. Behind them, you've got a Darkstalkers tribute art book, a Marvel History of Marvel Comics book that my parents bought me back in the 80s, which I absolutely love. It's a really good, cool, interesting history book about Marvel Comics. And then a Mega Man art book to the right. On this shelf here, you've got a Street Fighter tribute shelf, figurines of Necro, Alex, a statue of Blanca, a figure of Sagat, and then Chun-Li. Behind them, you've got Street Fighter Tribute art book, you've got the Street Fighter 20th Anniversary art book, and you've got the Capcom art book, Udon, I think it's like a Udon Art of Capcom collection, something like that. And then here, you've got the keychains from the 1990s. These keychains were given out as a promotion in our...
I wonder, I don't know if he was collecting comic books at that time, but some years back, they actually, Udon actually had started the Street Fighter series of comic books. I think they had a Darkstalkers series as well. And if I remember correctly, they had like some of the Street Fighter ones and maybe some of the Darkstalker ones too. They had like almost like a, not holographic, I guess it was kind of like that. It was like a holographic cover for some of their special editions. I wonder if he ever collected any of those. I'm sure those are worth quite a bit now. But I wonder if he ever actually collected some of those. You can find some of the artwork for that online. Like, I've seen people actually take that and actually put it on their arcade sticks and other stuff like that and frame it. But I was just curious if he ever collected any of the comic books as it's associated with those.
Arcades for Street Fighter 2. I have all 8 original Street Fighter 2 characters, and I'll be honest with you, I did not earn all these. I earned maybe about half of them. It was actually my best friend at the time and main competitor in the arcades, T. Carter, who gave me all of these, and rest in peace, T, I still miss you. But, yeah, the only reason I have all these is because of T. He gave them all to me.
I'm not even going to shit on that right now. We'll get to that sooner than later, but I won't even shit on that right now.
And they're really freaking cool. They're collector's items. You can't find these anywhere. They're basically made as a very limited run. You can only get them in arcades, and good luck finding them now. Alright, the next shelf is again another tribute to Street Fighter. The figures are Blanca, Charlie, Remy from Third Strike, and another blue Blanca. You've got a Darkstalkers original Capcom art book. You've got the Art of Udon Part 2 art book right there, behind there. Mega Man X art book, and then in the front, it's Street Fighter, the complete history. This shelf is a mishmash. It's mostly games that I have not traded in. This is a hard drive I'm going to eventually update my PS3 with, but I'm too lazy to do it because I really don't have the need for it. Star Wars The Force Unleashed 2 back there, Epic Mickey. For PS Move I have, I believe, the Time Crisis game and also the Shoe. Mass Effect 2, and then a bunch of random older games behind there. Current games, you got Super Street Fighter 4, Little Big Planet 2, Dead Space 2, Red Dead Redemption, Halo Reach, Assassin's Creed Brotherhood, and Fallout New Vegas Collector's Edition. All those games I still have and have not traded in. This is the stack of Christmas cards from Christmas that I received from my fans. I still have those. Heading further down, this is the old games shelf, and I know you can barely see it, so I apologize, but a bunch of these are the games that I showed you already, my old gaming collection, including my 32X games, my Sega CD games, my Genesis games, my Nintendo games, my Super Nintendo games, the original Donkey Kong and Pac-Man home console games, which are actually worth a shitload of money if they actually work, because they're so rare at this point. I have both of them. They were actually given to me by a very good friend last year. The box for the Bioshock syringe, which I guess I can throw out, because if you remember, I put this on my Christmas tree. So it's now officially a Christmas ornament, and I don't need this box anymore. That's the box to the headphones, Beats by Dr. Dre, and I have them with my Zune.
I'm surprised you didn't give the box away as part of your fan appreciation shit. No, the ornament is not in the box, but the box is still really cool, guys. It's like all those empty video game cases. I can't believe he did that. I really can't. Like, I don't care if they're collector edition boxes. I don't care if there's an additional disc in with behind the scenes stuff or whatever. Whatever. I can't believe he did that. I can't believe he did that and he was proud of it. Just wild shit, man. Just wild shit. If this has not been stated before, I think it should be stated now, that Phil may have one of the most dedicated fan bases out there because of the amount of abuse that they've taken over the years. It's definitely loyalty to a fault to some degree, but it's ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. Shitting on these people left and right. One thing that stands out in my mind right now was when I think Xbox Live, and one of the many times that they've had an outage, had happened, right? And he's like, "Oh, I got this 48-hour pass, this 48-hour free Xbox Live code and whatnot. I'm gonna give it to you guys now," and puts it in a video and then puts it out there, knowing damn well that fucking Xbox Live was out over that weekend. So he ripped the code because he was pissed off that he couldn't use Xbox Live that weekend. So he decided to give it to everybody so they can activate it so they can't even use it. Like, it's really like petty shit like that he does, and he does it for his own amusement. You know what I mean? And because he likes the idea of being able to lord over people. It's amazing how people try to defend him. It's absolutely nuts. Whether they're part of his fan base or not, it's obvious that you've seen this type of abuse go on, and you still want to try to condone that shit? All right then, whatever.
Somewhere, I haven't used that in quite a while. This is where I put all the boxes for like the collector's editions. You see Call of Duty Black Ops, Epic Mickey, Dead Space 2, the OnLive console, Assassin's Creed Brotherhood. Here's the box from the Kinect. The bottom shelf here is just random DVDs. The entire shelf is just DVDs, and right next to that also is a gigantic freaking holder here of DVDs. Okay, so all the DVDs.
Speaking of which, that online video game console, he said recently, no, he said in another video that I've seen that a fan actually purchased that for him. But I'm pretty confident I've heard him say he bought that on his own. So, I mean, eventually we'll find the video and we'll eventually go over it. Or we'll come across it. I'm not going to go out my way to look for it. But eventually we'll come across it. But if anybody actually knows for sure whether he actually bought that console or someone actually gave it to him, please let me know. I'd very much just... it doesn't mean much of anything in the larger scheme. But, you know, the more you know.
That used to be in this bookcase have moved to different DVD holders now. They're all right there. Moving on here, the first piece of artwork besides the Hulk here, this is really cool. When Nintendo Power had their anniversary last year, they redid their original poster. Their first poster they ever released was this one. It was Thank You Mario, but Our Princess is in Another Castle. That was in 1985. And they decided to re-release this poster, and I said, hey, this is a really cool opportunity. I kept it, and then I eventually framed it and put it on my wall here. Alright, last but not least, we're going to move into my bedroom here. We're going to check that out, and that's going to be it. So we're going to have one more part. I'll be right back. Okay, so entering my bedroom, I have a cool poster of Mario on the door outside. This was from... I think Club Nintendo. Yes, this was from Club Nintendo. One of the things that I redeemed my points for this year. I framed it and put it on my bedroom door. Let's head in. Thermostat, big deal. Who gives a fuck? So looking left, a fan that I've never used. My mother put this in here. I have no idea what it's here for because look at how crappy this little tiny fan is. That's the box from the Gears of War statue. This is...
That doesn't mean that it's any less useful. Jesus Christ, man. Have a little bit more appreciation for what people do for you.
This is the lamp that I use in my bedroom. This is the box where I keep my cowboy hat that I bought in Nashville during the SBO qualifiers this year. On top I have two sweaters, which I have no where to put. I guess actually I do have room. Why the hell didn't I ever put those in?
The Christian. The Christian sweaters. Oh, shit. I think he's worn those in like... channel update in those old channel update videos, so that's hilarious. Hopefully we get a rant out of this about him getting fired. Also, I'd like you guys to just keep a mental note of how the dresser and everything looks now, because as we get into more of these condo tours and later videos, that's just going to slowly but surely build upon each other. It just becomes this huge amalgamation of just bullshit. And he didn't even have any foresight to, I don't know, find a large box and put it in a box and put it in your closet or something. He just let it all stack up. It was almost as if, because he felt like he didn't get everything he should have gotten as a child, that when he got it as an adult, he let it all stack up and build up to kind of show his importance, right? Like, and I don't even know if I would even go as far as saying to people who actually come into his condo and see it. I think for himself, you know, I deserve all of this. I've earned all of this. I should be appreciated in such a way. You know what I mean? Because in a lot of ways, how people donate stuff to him or send him shit, he looks at it as tribute. Like, yeah, I've done all this for you guys for over these years. I deserve this. You know what I mean? I've earned this. And I'll do what I will. And if I find it useful, I will use it. If I don't, I won't. Like that Stream Deck, for example, that we found out about. That's been sitting there for two fucking years. You know what I mean? He could have sent it back to that person and be like, hey, man, I thank you, but, you know, I can't use it right now because it's not compatible to whatever version of Windows. But he didn't do that because he sounds stupid. So he just kept it. Which is really fucked up because think about how you must feel being that individual who threw down $150 or $200 or whatever it cost at the time that was purchased and sent it to DarksydePhil just so it could sit in a closet. But let me go even further. Think about back in the day, for any of you guys who have been around, who when Phil used to do the fan mail, when he did the fan mail videos, most of those pieces of fan mail he threw away. Most of those packages, I should say, he tossed them. And he came out and said it too. He's like, yeah, I tossed them. If I didn't know or if I didn't recognize who it came from, I threw it away. Well, Phil, I sent you multiple letters about it. Oh, well, I guess I just forgot. But actually, let's jump back a little bit, because I've actually watched those. Let me jump back a little bit. He actually said when he did the initial unboxing for this fan mail, oh, if you guys sent me a package and it didn't go through, you might need to check your post office, man. Sometimes they lose stuff. Sometimes they forget about it. Stuff like that. I check my PO box pretty regularly, and if it didn't show up, it didn't show up, man. I'm sorry about that. Years later, he admits that, yeah, I just tossed it. I didn't know what it was, and I didn't want to have any problems, so I just threw it away. So who knows what some of these people, mainly kids at that time, had sent him with whatever money that they could scrounge up, or whatever money that they asked their parents for, or whatever coins or pieces of their culture, because he did have a fan base that was worldwide, that he tossed away because he's a paranoid piece of shit. And I guess he expected it was going to be like on some Unabomb shit or something. I don't know. But that means, ladies and gentlemen, he was paranoid before the detractors. So then, whose fault is it then? Something to think about.
The drawer. Okay, anyway, on my wall here I have a couple things. This is my ACE certification, that's right. This is a continuous improvement certification associate level that I earned last year at my previous job before they laid me off. And this is the parent company. This isn't the company that I actually work for, so I'm not afraid of any.
Ground floor, basically. And this is what you wanted to hang, this is what he wanted to hang his hat on. All right, man. I mean, yet again, this just mirrors his little fourth place win at Evo. Not even win, his fourth placing at Evo. This is no different. You know what I'm saying? They sent you to a training class, I would assume, for like 3 days or whatever, and you passed. Who gives a shit? It didn't mean much if they end up firing you, right, Phil? Or laying you off, or however you want to spin your story. It didn't mean much. So guess what? It must have not have been that big of a loss to send you off to get trained, dude. You know what I'm saying? And then, either which way, here's the real thing. Here's the thing that people really should go ahead and take in. Whatever it was that ACE certification gave you, right? Whatever skills or whatever knowledge that you were supposed to obtain, that certificate basically clarifies that yes, you do know and understand how this works. You weren't able to utilize that later. We saw how YouTube failed for you. We see how Twitch failed for you. It didn't actually help you with anything, right? You weren't able to use that information, that knowledge, that experience, and transition it into something else. So why do you keep preaching about that shit? Just saying.
Anything. And to be completely honest, you know what? Fuck it. I got laid off. It's bullshit. And it's funny because they paid all this money for me to get this continuous improvement certification. Don't get me... This is not something you earn overnight, all right? You have to attend...
At the associate level.
And like a shitload of classes. You have to be in a bunch of events. You have to actually lead a couple events at your job to get the certification. So, I earned the certification, and then a couple months later they lay me off. What a bunch of bullshit. Anyway, here's my...
So they did the whole training and everything at your job, basically in-house. Which means that more often than not, they had someone there who already works in the building that's hosting all these classes. Like, that would be their primary function, to go ahead and conduct these classes so they could further the education of their employees, right? So he makes it sound like they had to fly him off somewhere, right? Or they had to bring some specialist in to conduct these classes when more often than not this is in-house. This is an in-house certification. I'm not trying to necessarily downplay it. I'm just trying to get some clarification.
College degree to prove to everyone who thinks that I'm full of shit. Yeah, I do have a college degree. Oh, I'm sorry, you can't read Latin? Well, tough shit. Maybe you should be able to. Anyway.
That's ironic because years later, someone brought this up and he's like, I can't read Latin either. So, tough shit for you too. You have a degree that you can't read either. Womp womp.
This is my calendar. I got this from Sideshow Collectibles for buying some of the statues and the dioramas and such that you've seen in my condo so far. It's pretty cool. It features their products every month. This is another poster from Club Nintendo. It's the history of Mario up to 2009, but it's actually outdated at this point because in 2010 there was Super Mario Galaxy 2, and it does not cover that. Here I have a file cabinet under there where I put all my legal documents, etc., etc. Here is my dresser, and yes, there is another model here. This is of White Queen. So people saw that box like 6 months ago and were like, what the hell is this White Queen box? Look how sweet this fucking model is. Seriously, she's got like this crazy sweeping cape. She's smoking fucking hot. She's one of the most powerful characters in the Marvel Universe, one of the best psychics in the Marvel Universe, and I saw the model and I fucking said,
But she's not the best. She still can't beat Jean Grey. And she can't even beat Rachel. She's nowhere close to Rachel Summers. But whatever. Let's save the semantics for another time. It's amazing, Phil, that's in your dresser, in your bedroom, facing your bed. Just saying. I mean, you know, wouldn't you want to have something like that out front for everybody to kind of get to look at and gawk at? Oh no, that's for your personal time, right? Okay, that's cool. I mean, whatever you're into, right? Whatever you're into.
I get that. Here behind her are a whole bunch of books by Dan Brown, by Brian Jacques, by Michael Crichton, Brad Meltzer, there's a couple there. You also have all the strategy guides that I have for games that are still here. So, for example, you got Fallout 3, Fallout New Vegas, Fable 3, Fable 2, Gears of War 2, Lost Planet 2, Final Fantasy 3. Yes, I actually have the American strategy guide for Final Fantasy 3. It's extremely rare. I love it because in that strategy guide, that guy actually like puts flair into it and gets his own jokes and spins on stuff. So that's still there. Just a dresser with clothes. Behind here, these giant Post-its I used to use for work. For events and stuff. I put them on the wall and draw diagrams and things on them. I figured, hey, it's already here. I brought it home for work because I used to work, you know, do stuff at home and bring it to work. Might as well just keep it if I ever need it in the future. Here's an office chair, whoop-de-doo. But this is my other computer setup. And yeah, there's a lot here, so I'll back up a little bit. First of all, there's a DarksydePhil clock that incidentally is completely off. No, it is not like fucking 7:45 or whatever that says. It's way off. I don't know what happened to that clock, why it's so horribly off by hours. But what we've got here, we got an air purifier, which is running constantly. We've got a humidifier, which I run every once in a while when the air gets dry. Speakers that are hooked up to my cable box here. This is actually a laptop, which is hooked up to this monitor setup. It's only for web browsing. I can't really do anything else on it. It's an ancient laptop. It can't run games. It can't do. It could. Yes, it could play videos, but it can't do anything besides just basic web browsing. So it's right there. On top of that, I have a bust of Black Cat, who, after playing Web of Shadows in 2009, I fell madly in love with, and her giant breasts, boobies.
Which is funny too because he jumps between Black Cat and Shadowcat a lot, and I'm pretty sure Shadowcat is a completely different character in herself, to be honest. But whatever. If you guys hear, it's supposed to be Black Cat though from Spider-Man, but I think he flips her name with someone else.
Boobies, titties. And behind her is a speaker that is hooked up to that laptop so that I can actually hear stuff when I'm doing stuff on the internet. Pens and pencils, an American flag, another box of tissues for the bedroom, odds and ends on this shelf. I mean, you got a cable box, paper, CD case, that lint brush that you've seen in Ask the King. So
yeah, I was right. He's thinking when he's thinking of Shadow Cat, he's thinking of the chick from X-Men, the one who can phase through walls and whatnot. Yeah, that's what I thought. It's K Pride. Yeah, I figured he was. I don't know how he kind of. Well, I guess it's probably an easy mistake to make. I guess. Because I remember Tevin pointing that out, how he was flipping through names, and it was and I knew then like Phil was kind of confusing himself. But anyway, that's the situation with that.
when asked about just a bunch of random DVDs, CDs, and stuff behind there, nothing major. Here's my printer. It's a wireless printer. It goes out to the desktop computer and also this computer, so I can print from both to this printer if I need to, with a stack of stuff that flight reservations for Final Round, hotel reservations for Final Round, and Winter Brawl, all kinds of stuff just sitting on the printer here.
Did you write that off as business expenses?
Alright, so this is my alternate PC setup, like I said. It's just for web browsing in the bedroom.
Yo! Actually, that was meant to be that was meant to be a dry joke. But in actuality, I wonder if he actually did write all that off as business expense, because remember, he was going to those tournaments and snatching up these dudes' snatching up those guys' tournament footage. So I'm wondering if he did write. Excuse me, Jesus Christ, Snortbucks is getting at me. I'm wondering if he did write that off as business expense. Interesting.
Keyboard, mouse pad, that's the King of Hate mouse pad there with my mouse. There's a small footrest down there to put my feet up on. Trash. These are just odds and ends, old headsets, mice, stuff like that down there. And there's actually one more 2 terabyte external hard drive over there in the corner that I can use once the one I'm using now fills up. That's the box for my Alienware laptop. That's a piece of shit. Here's a window to my bedroom, to the back porch. Nightstand with my alarm clock and a lamp if I want to use them. Some more cool art. I've got a poster from Nintendo Power of Metroid Other M. I thought this was a really sweet poster, so I framed it and put it up. Another poster from Club Nintendo. This is like all the major characters from the Super Mario series on one poster, which is pretty sweet. I got that above my bed here. That's my bed. Big deal. Here I've got my old school, I like to call this tube TV or POS TV, because everyone needs one of these. I mean, whenever you want to play a Nintendo game, you've got an inkling to play anything before the games became HD. You need an old TV, so I'm always going to have this TV, just in case I got that old school craving. There you've got a dresser. That's actually my extra surge protector that's plugged into absolutely nothing that I take with me on trips. This is pretty cool. This box, this cardboard box, you want to know what's in this box? And this is honest. In this box are all the things that were at my desk at my previous job. And since I got laid off, I've left all that stuff in this box. Because I said, you know what? Number one, I want to move on. And number two, who knows if one of these days I'm going to get the call to come back to that job. Because the people, as I've said many times in my videos,
and that's the I knew this was somewhere, and I couldn't remember where it was. This dude actually held out that they was going to call him back. Like, he legit held out hope. You know, he held out hope that they were going to call him back. He felt that he was that much of an asset, right? And that those fuck boys over there sat there and screwed him up and out of his job, that he was like, oh, well, eventually they'll see the light and they'll ask him to come back. He actually thought that. And which leads to when he went on the bucket list with Panda, which explains why he had spouted off even more venom at the fact that they never did. And it also, as the other Condo tours go on, you'll see why his animosity keeps building up the way it is. Because remember, he got laid off in like September. We're in February. So he was, even then, I thought, and remember the first thing he said when he was talking about this box? Oh, I need to move on. But yet you're holding out hope that they'll take you back? Intriguing.
the people at my previous job love me. I got, in this box is an award for outstanding contribution to the corporation from like 2 months before I got laid off. Here it is. Outstanding contribution, I'm not going to take it out, but outstanding contribution to the corporation. That's it. And that was in July, and then in September I got laid off. Fuck that bullshit. What that means is that's a disconnected management. They don't know what they're doing. You got one group in the building that absolutely loves what I'm doing. They transfer me to a new area and I get laid off within 2 months. That's fucking stupid ass management. And that's why the manager who basically was responsible for laying me off is no longer at that company. But I digress. I've left all the stuff in there. Who knows?
So because that manager who laid you off is no longer there, you're still holding out hope that they might take you back? Oh my God, if that's not a DSP-ism, I don't know what is. Oh no! Oh, that's so good, so good.
Knows what's going to happen in the future. I said leave it in there. One day I will probably unpack that box, but I'm not in any rush. This is my mini fridge, and as you see, we have some really cool earthbound magnets on the front. And in there I've got things that I can't really fit in my normal fridge, which isn't much right now. It's almost empty in there, so it's really not even worth showing you.
There's clearly a box in front of the fucking door, and instead of you sliding the box over, if you're gonna go through the trouble of opening the door, you're gonna do this. And Sidella was the one that wanted to run around calling black people whatever. Fuck you, Sidella.
The only last thing here, really, that I haven't shown you is this. I have a nice, really big walk-in closet that's covered by this mirror door. And on top of it, I said, "There's a big empty space. What should I put there?" And then when I saw the year-end issue of Game Informer, that's right. It had my issue. I'm trying to remember what it was. I think it had these guys. I think it had like Master Chief and some of these characters, and then it cut off. And then I said, "Well, wait a minute. It looks like this is a bigger piece of art." And when I looked into it, I found out that Game Informer was actually selling this giant poster, which is like 3 different covers that they had for that year-end issue of their magazine, and they were selling it online. And I went and bought it for $10. It fits perfectly above this mirror. And it's basically the characters, the most original and interesting characters of the decade from 2000 to 2010. And you've got people on there like, excuse me, Nathan Drake's on there, Ethan Mars is on there, what the hell's his name? The guy from Mass Effect 2, the something man, I forget, the elusive man, yeah, he's on there. Trying to think who all these people are. Commander Shepard, the girl from Beyond Good and Evil, I forgot her name, the Spartan, GLaDOS, Andrew Ryan, I forget what the hell her name is from Metal Gear. But yeah, you get the idea. All Ezio, all the people from from the popular games from this decade are on here, and it's really cool. I love this poster. It fit perfectly, and it really did fill in a gap that I had. So that is pretty much it. That's my condo tour for February of 2011. A lot has changed, like I said. A lot of models and things that I added to try to redecorate, and unfortunately, it came at a bad time because, like I said, if I had known that I was going to get laid off, I probably wouldn't have bought anything. I would have just saved the money, but I ended up trying to redecorate, and then, I got laid off from my job. What can you do? You don't expect that kind of thing to happen, so. Yes, I know my condo's a mess. I need to clean up this side of it. Stop criticizing me. How dare you? I know how I need to get rid of all these empty boxes. I need to get rid of that TV box. It'll all be gone in a couple of days, hopefully, because it's been very warm here recently and all the ice is starting to melt. So I'm hoping that within the next couple of days I can get all this junk out of here and at least try to restore some semblance of order in here. It actually did not look like this during the warm months of last year. So, all right, this is DSP. This has been my condo tour for 2011. I hope you enjoyed it. I'll see you guys later.
Oh boy. Oh boy, the next 2 or 3 or 4 of these are going to be fucking great. Oh my god. I like the self-realization at the end though about, you know what, maybe I shouldn't spend my money on this. Maybe I should have waited. No one's saying he couldn't have bought them, but he just should have waited. The holding out for that they might actually call him back is that was special. That was that's definitely Philism to say the to say the very least. Some funny stuff. Some rather funny stuff. Didn't show the bathroom, but there's a reason why for that. All right, ladies and gentlemen, let me go ahead and close up shop, and we'll reconvene for final thoughts and let you guys go on with your day. Oh my god. I'll see you guys in just a second. Holy shit.
Hey yo, I just want to say shout out to my red bike. It got stolen about a year ago, and I think about you every day. But you know, now I got a blue bike, and it's not the same, but it's a new life, a new journey. So rest in pedals, red bike, I love you. I like to bask in the tropics with a flask in my pocket. If you acting no brolic, I'll start laughing and mocking like a charismatic parrot that is a comic. Now I'm feeling like the shit, cause I'm rapping with finest. Loose off of Jen Ricky's, perusing Sin City, riding my Schwinn smooth like the swing of Ken Griffey. And the felt of the velvet, I said hell with a helmet. I can tell that you're jealous of the smell of the shellfish. Don't tell me I need a haircut. You can't walk a mile in my shoes cause I'm barefoot. Bob's taking the toke.
Oh boy. Alright, ladies and gentlemen. That right there was the Condo tour for 2011, parts 1 through 4, as well as Condo Wars, episode 1, I believe. Let me see something. Yeah, Condo Wars, episode 1, First Impressions, which was from July 9th of 2009. So there you guys go. I will see you guys. The next one will probably be, well, I don't know if it'll be the next video that'll go up, but the next Condo tour will be August walkthrough in 2011. So same year, we're just going to jump ahead 6 months. So who knows what he acquired then. Ooh. Ladies and gentlemen, I think the biggest takeaway from the Condo tours cannot be expressed to you in just one video. You'll have to see all of them to kind of come up to your own conclusion. But for me, and for the way I took from it, is he's just a grown ass. He's still a big kid trying to fill in his space. To be honest, he was trying to make up for everything that he felt that he should have had in his youth and didn't get it, and it bit him in the ass. You know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, it bit him in the ass years later, but it bit him in the ass because he really needed to grow to fuck up. You running around and saying that you're a mature adult is one thing, but your actions speak more than that, and that's what ended up coming to get him. And the fact that most of those statues, ladies and gentlemen, was purchased before the YouTube money even came in, that changes things for me, because I didn't even know that. I thought he bought all that with YouTube money. I didn't know that was money that was from the helicopter company. That's thousands of dollars that he could have saved up. And being that you look at the short amount of time, right? Like, look at the sequence for his last year, if you will, at the helicopter company. He gets an award for outstanding performance. He goes to the A certification class, and then he's dropped after that. You know what I mean? Like, that's a really, really short amount of time for all that shit to happen. And then he legit believed that they were gonna call him back. Oh my god, bruh. I didn't expect that. I mean, I guess if you think about it, his father worked for that company for like 30 years or some shit. He was somebody. So, and he was the one who got him the job. So maybe he thought, okay, well, maybe once the hiring manager's gone, I'll get back in. And another thing that it should be also pointed out is he was keeping tabs on that. Think about that for a minute. He was keeping tabs on that job, even after he got laid off, and the people who were still there. You know, and I don't think it was more of a casual conversation, or maybe he was using casual conversation with other people to get information on who was there and who wasn't, to see if he could get himself back in. I don't know, but it's obvious that he was holding on. He was keeping tabs on people. Just like when him and Panda end up leaving the state, or leaving the coast. Actually, he was sitting there rambling off about the people who got fired after he got fired, and how they deserved it, and how they were wrong for how they mistreated him. That resentment, dude, is not something that's not healthy. That's definitely not healthy. Holding on to shit like that, you know what I'm saying? You gotta let that shit go. So 2011, he's sitting there saying, "Oh, I'm holding on to this box, but I'm not actually gonna go through any of it. But I need to move on." And then in 2014, you sitting there in a fucking parking lot in front of that empty building, or it wasn't empty. There's still people working there, but you were outside of your old jobs building in the parking lot, I should say, ranting about how they fucking fired you and how you were still pissed off about it. 3+ years later. And then, ladies and gentlemen, because I'm an asshole, right? Let me add on to that. If he was willing to do that, you're telling me he wouldn't hold any resentment to an offhanded tweet that Pro Jared would throw out there? And then sat and wait as the gouty viper to strike once Pro Jared's personal business came up out there? Ladies and gentlemen, he's resentful by nature. He's resentful by nature. Like I said, for those of you who want to defend him, keep doing it. I wish you the best for it too. But just keep defending him. It makes it fun for everybody. You guys got something to talk about. I got something to talk about. It is what it is. But for all of you who are new to this DSP-ism and whatnot, you're gonna find very clearly what kind of person this guy is. You know what I mean? They don't call him the pig roach for no reason. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for listening in. I very much appreciate it. And I'll see you guys for the next one, whenever that may be. Hopefully sooner than later. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the Gout Report /retort. And this is DSP News 2nd edition. Take care of yourselves, guys. Later. Oh, and big ups to Tim Snortons. Grab something on your way out.
Got rich, then I blew up. Got everyone in my crew on. Ride for my true ones. Yo, I told my girl I got a new chain. Yeah. I hope that this alright with you. With you.